Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest Anfield Index Under Pressure podcast, the last AIUP league game until after Christmas. Can you believe it? But my name's Dan Kennett, and it's a two-man pod this week. We've had to rejig this twice already, but the good news is it's just me and having a nice cozy chat with the hardest working man in sports science, Mr. Simon Brundish. Evening, Si.
Evening, Darth. Yeah, life is very busy, and it's just the way I like it.
Excellent. You're just the kind of guy who does not like being idle.
No, there's a very real there's a thing going on in sports science now amongst strength and conditioning coaches across the world. There's a bunch of them that are basically retired from actually doing the coaching and have set up little practices of burnouts, like consultants, and here you have to periodize your career and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, I like my job. I'm fulfilled by it. I don't need to sleep more.
Before we start, I just do want to thank once again all our regular listeners for downloading this, because it's very topical as we record this. A certain Piers Morgan is interviewing a certain Cristiano Ronaldo on Talk TV, and just a regular reminder that thank you for making the show have a bigger audience than Piers Morgan on Talk TV. So thank you for everybody, and we hope you enjoy this one as well. So continue to give us your feedback. But yes, AA Under Pressure, more popular than Piers Morgan. Right, now without further ado, Si, let's talk about the Carabao Cup very, very quickly. We're through. Yay, I think. I mean, I guess your only concern for the game was the selection, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't like a couple of them, but okay. If Klopp uses it entirely as a training match for kids and to mitigate load of players, I'm absolutely fine with. The draw really pissed me off, because that was basically the one inevitable that will change selection.
Not winning. I mean, not winning in normal time.
No, who we've got in this next round.
Oh, City. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, get City next round. It changes the selection. And and apart from that, like, I'm fine with it. And even then, if we use it as a training game, as a warm-up game, and I'm fine with that. Like
Thursday, the 22nd of December.
Madness.
With a game on Boxing Day as well, back on Boxing Day. Yep, and the World Cup final is on Sunday, the 18th of December.
Who do you? Let's get this out of the way. Who do you reckon is going to win? Who do you reckon is going to be last four?
Oh, in the Carabao?
No, in the World Cup.
Oh God, I really don't know. Brazil, France, and then I pass. What do you reckon?
Oh, I don't even know who's in which half of which draw or anything like that. And I used to love it.
So what we'll do is we'll ask producer Guy to put it in the chat, and then in the chat, and then we'll just read out Guy's numbers instead. Guy's predictions for the last four.
How many of our lads? Really, the thing I'm talking about is I might actually get a fatigue index with a couple of Premier League coaches in, and how many of our lads are going to be late in the competition compared to how many of City's lads are going to be late on in the competition.
That'd be interesting. Apparently, we are going to Dubai. Yes. So
yeah.
So we're going to have a training camp. We're going to have a warm weather training camp in Dubai, which Klopp loves anyway, as we all know. And
loves it.
Yeah, he does love it, doesn't he? So players, as and when they get knocked out of the tournament, can go to the warm weather camp.
Yeah.
And we've arranged some friendlies.
Three friendlies.
Leon,
Milan.
Milan, Lyon, and not Arsenal, though, apparently. We're not going to play Arsenal in that game. Right, so Guy's predictions are Argentina versus Portugal final, England, Brazil, third, fourth place playoff. There you go.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I'm just looking at the groups now. France.
Yeah. Right, there's good. There's David.
To talk about. We might as well talk about.
So let's talk quickly about Caoimhín Kelleher, though. How
good is Kev?
Yeah,
he seems to be the greatest of all penalty savers. Apart, like Ali has got a phenomenal penalty saving record.
Yeah,
and Jurgen called him the blonde Ali.
Yeah.
As penalties go, he seems to do all right, doesn't he? And he's not even one of those guys he happens to have gone the right way and the ball's hit him. He's actually making saves, like adjusting his hand position and the
third
full extension, making saves.
The third save was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It really was, wasn't it?
That was a top save. But yeah, he's a really, really good backup goalkeeper, isn't he? And I mean, if we could, my only concern, is can we keep him at the club until Ali finally leaves? Because that's the risk, isn't it? Because he is for number 2, he is as good as he's going to get in that role.
Yeah, my feeling is you pay him off, send him out on loan for a year to a bigger club,
right? And then say, you're still going to have 7. You're still going to have 7 years first choice to Liverpool. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that would be my thing. Go and get an experience as a first choice, and with and like you're already planning ascension, so to top spot, and it makes sense rather than being a reserve goal.
Yeah, you could do. You could give him to a promoted Premier League team next year or something. Say play.
I would give him to a top 4 team. I'm telling you, but in a different country.
Oh, in a different country, yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't do it in the Premier League, but like his boss. And just a little insight after the game. Well, it was actually 2 days later because Derby got home at 3:15 in the morning, which is a little insight into my world of going.
That seems rather late.
Oh God, traffic's horrendous. But they were talking about they mentioned the lads were talking about three things: how phenomenal Kev was. They didn't know that about Tsimikas, and like he was the best footballer on the pitch. They were talking about, and how quick Doak is. Doak, whatever his name is.
Yeah. Yes, he did look lively. I have to say, the young boy, young Celtic. We got him from Celtic, didn't we? So yeah. Some definite positives there. But unless you've got anything else burning to say, should we move on to Southampton?
Yeah, that's boring. Yeah, Southampton is.
So, Southampton, new manager, Nathan Jones. I remember that was a song back in the 80s. But yeah.
For literally nobody that remembers. Nobody's listening can remember that.
No.
Bananarama,
Nathan Jones, you've been gone too long. Anyway, that's shown our age. But yes, his debut for Southampton. And he, interestingly, he goes in with a 3 at the back.
And more interestingly, I think, is that we have gone back to playing a proper 3. We've gone back to our old school. This is the rehearsed stuff we've talked about, 4-3-3, and you were the biggest. You were the one that was most critical of any opposition playing 3 at the back against us.
Yes,
it fulfilled that prediction, didn't it? It kind of manifested in this game, that stuff that we used to be brilliant at, and it kind of looked like it in this game. I thought they got a little bit caught out, their fullbacks of who they're supposed to pick up at which time and that kind of stuff. So it was pleasing on the eye.
Yes. Did you see many? So actually, let's do our lineup per se. It was pretty much one change from the previous league game, which was
I count changes, but I don't count changes from like the Caribou because it's pointless. So there was one change. Yeah, we got 7 injuries, one change, 68 minutes or so.
But Konate wasn't injured, was he? Because he's gone over to the World Cup with France, right?
Yeah, so it was just took a day.
Right. Okay.
I'm fairly sure Henderson was the same.
Right. So we let them just give them the time off so they can get ready for the World Cup with their countries.
Yeah, and just like the chances of them getting injured, just take that away by we're probably not going to play you. So
Yeah,
I think Klopp taken into account that players are humans and the important things are at foot.
yeah. And one thing I noticed about the Southampton team, it was the first game Anfield, the transfer that never was, the ones that, there was rumours in 2021 season with the centre-back crisis that we were trying to buy Duj Chalata-Sar from, and he's now at Southampton and he's not going to the World Cup with Croatia. And I put it to you, Si, that he wasn't actually very good this weekend.
I've just noticed that. You saying that, I just saw him on the screen and went, "Oh my god, I'd seen that name before." Yeah, that makes sense.
He was at Marseille,
right,
and we were trying to get him, and if we,
he was one of Dave's favourites, wasn't he?
If we'd have got him, would we have signed Canate? That's the question. Would we have Canate with us? Probably, because if we'd already signed the player, and anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't think he was very good, was he? But I mean, it was the whole Saints system. It was until they went for at the back, it didn't really suit them at all, did it?
No, they were very much caught in between. But on top of that, like Nunes was phenomenal
First
in
half,
his chaos producing.
Yeah.
And we played really well. Like we're a numbers show and doing the numbers thing. Do you want to do match stuff? Before I delve into XG chain.
I've got the summary from Rhodesy, even though he's prepped it for us anyway. So on the non-penalty XG, it was on the average of the models, it was 2.8 for us and 1.3 for Southampton. So a difference of 1.5 in any match is pretty strong. The average shot quality was high for both teams, 0.18 for us, 0.15 for them. Ours is that 0.18 is almost double the league average shot quality. 15 shots to 9, shots on target 7 to 5, and then shots in the box 13 to 9, and the big chances 6 to 3. 3 is too many. 6 in attack is phenomenal, and then the penalty box touches just 28 for us, which is one of the lowest of the whole season, and 21 for Southampton. So, Si, over to you.
Yeah, just like two of the big things that changed in this game was I thought, just remove the individual talent that sometimes it fires and sometimes it doesn't up front, is that we were utilising our fullbacks in a much more attacking way than we had. And they were being, I think the last couple of games, Robbo and even Trent, so looking from an XG perspective, an XG chain, XG build, both of them were... have gone up considerably in recent times from what they've been at this season. Like Trent is knocking around XG chain of average 0.51, and he averaged 0.69 last season. Yeah. And Robbo's is 0.4. But he's had 3 games in a row above that.
Yeah, and there's no question that Robbo's in good form.
Yeah, and having that, it just changes everything. They're both involved in stuff from an attacking perspective, chance creation, getting into the box, and when they're threats, that's up there. And having Thiago in the team, but when we've been reliant on having Thiago in the team and a little bit of hoping that Harvey would do something, but having those two as actual threats, it just changes the game entirely for us. And when you got 3, when they're playing against 5 at the back, you have to wait for moments where you're rotating the ball through midfield, drag one of the midfielders a little bit more central, which leads to an overload. There's usually one of the forwards and one of the fullbacks wide, which leaves the fullback deciding on whether to come for a forward or not, or whether to stick for the fullback. And then we were waiting for that moment, and then we were slipping the ball in.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
Yeah. I thought, like you said, the fullback play was particularly reminiscent of going back to previous seasons and stuff. To what extent did you see the funky variations, right side variations that we've seen so much this season? So to what extent did you see them in this game, and to what extent did we see the lessons learned from the 4-4-2 period? What was your views on that?
Oh, I think Mo's role has just changed. He's still playing much more of a forward. His involvement in build-up is almost gone completely. And early in the season, he was really prevalent in build-up phase. And sometimes in like, I think at game week 10, he had the most chances created in Europe.
Yeah.
And then he has basically not made a chance since, because no one's passing him the ball until he gets inside the box to have a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like somewhere in between those two is better for the team, but currently it's doing great.
And Trent did get into a few, the 8, the advanced 8, and even the 10 position a couple of times. But did you think he was, again, more stay at home than in this match?
Oh, definitely. So one of the things that I've just run is, my possession control stat.
Yeah.
And last season, Trent, who is a high risk, high reward kind of passer, and he's not typically he's not the highest volume retriever of possession through aerial duels, through tackles, through recoveries, interceptions, all that stuff. He's not. He's an in possession kind of guy, isn't he? He receives more of his passes. So Trent typically receives more than 90% of his touches through a pass.
Right.
And in the last 10 games, he's received more than 40% of his touches are through some kind of possession retrieval himself, which is very, very new.
Wow.
Possession control. So his possession control last season was minus 17. And in the last 10 games, he is at minus 6. And he's had positive possession control 3 times. He's turning into Ginny from the back with a little bit of expanded passes. And on the other side, we're actually taking more risks down the other side. So this season, the fullbacks on the left side have a possession control of minus 195, and Trent has a minus 158. So they're giving the ball away way more down the left-hand side and recovering it less, and Trent is more. But in the last 10 games, that's been more extreme, that whereas Trent has a positive possession control in 3 games, and he's under minus 5 in 7 of his last 10, the other side have had a minus possession control of minus 15 or more in 7 of the last 10 games. So that's a lot of words, but I think we're giving a lot more risk down that side, and Trent is being a lot more safe.
Yes. Because
if you think of them as units, you've got Thiago in front, who has the best possession control in the team. So he gets to dictate what's risk down that side. And on the right-hand side, there is Harvey, who has really low possession control as well. And so you can't have the whole of one side losing the ball all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Now, one thing I did want to talk about in terms of the funky variations, we spent so much this season talking about Harvey Elliott, and I've shared a couple of images with you in the chat site. Elliott for this game, and then also this is on the pressing data collected by Gags, by the way, in this match, and then also on Elliott for the season. I'll be putting these out from the account and also in the the Discord and the pressure group as well afterwards as well. And I think the penny has dropped in terms of Elliot's off-ball work, at least, because he's playing much more tighter to the touchline and deeper towards our goal than before. When he was at the right eight before the 4-4-2 changes, he was very aggressive, very high, often a lot in field as well. But since that Rangers game, which is I think it's 11 matches now, something like that, 12 matches. He's very, very tight. There's very little out. If you think between the right edge of the penalty box and the right touchline, 95%, 90% of all Harvey's presses are in that strip of the pitch outside the perimeter of the penalty box. And there's very little past the opposition D. So whereas previously there was a lot infield, round the opposition box, even inside the opposition penalty box. And I think, Si, that it just looks to me that that's a nice visual way of showing how Elliot has been instructed to maybe not be so kamikaze with his, it's just focusing on attack at the expense of defence. And over the season, he definitely is showing a more defensive side to his game.
Makes a ton of sense. And I actually think both the things we've just talked about aren't a coincidence.
Yeah.
I think one leads to the other.
Yeah.
So Harvey's having to chase less because
Mo's role as well. The other thing. They're all interlinked.
Yeah. Exactly. So it just goes to we have more control in and out of possession, and we're starting to make more smart choices.
Yeah.
So teamwork's working. It's getting better for sure. It looks like it as well, doesn't it? From not just from a statistical perspective, it looks like it's starting to work a little bit. We're still giving up too many big chances.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we do have the world's greatest ever goalkeeper, which we'll come on to. Thank goodness. Darwin Núñez. I'm going to say, put it to you that it was his best 45 minutes in a Liverpool shirt, first half.
Yeah, I'd say. I've only watched it in retrospect, so I knew what had happened before I saw it for the first time. But for sure, like to start the game, to be fair, we got a free kick, we got a set piece goal, which had a little bit of luck in our favour.
Yep.
And it gets us underway, and then it creates a little bit of nerves in their ranks, and it allowed a little bit of chaos for the master of chaos.
Just on the set plays, by the way, did you know that we don't have the most shots from set plays in the Premier League this season?
Seriously?
We have the second. Do you want to have a guess who's got more?
Arsenal.
No, Newcastle.
Oh, I knew that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Newcastle 78 shots from set plays. We've got 69. Then it's City with 59.
I meant to look it up earlier because I just infuriated by 50p head. What percentage? I would wonder where we rank, the difference we rank in shots on target as opposed to just shots.
Yeah, and if you want to measure corners, right, the actual delivery from a corner to getting a shot away, so a corner conversion, right? Fulham convert with 30, they're top, believe it or not, 35.8% of the corners are converted. Newcastle are second.
That's going to go down soon.
Yeah, Newcastle 34.3, they're second, and then we're third in the league with level with Brentford 32.4%. So we connect.
We do get a lot of shots from it, don't we?
We connect with a third of our corners with the delivery.
Crazy.
Yeah.
One of the huge factors in this game is that we had, with our first 8 shots, we hit the target with 7.
Yeah.
And that's just massive. Early in the season, we were missing with the first 10 shots.
Yeah. Should we talk about the Southampton equaliser quickly before we talk about Darwin? I mean, as harsh as it sounds, it's a mistake, isn't it, from Ali? He came and then he realised he couldn't get there, and then he was stranded. Yeah.
Maybe. I think it's harsh. I think Ward-Prowse is absolutely brilliant.
He is brilliant.
And it was a beautiful fizzed in free kick. I think that Bobby had a little bit of luck for the goal. It was great that he got a header off, but the keeper should have thrown his hat on it. And then Bobby gave away the free kick, and then Bobby let his man run, and who scored from it. Like, if you have to pick on the best goalie in the world for not being the best goalie in the world for 1 second, maybe. I honestly didn't see it as a mistake. I think he should never have been unmarked. And Bobby was hugging him at one point, and then he stood outside the box and watched him run into it.
Yeah.
And it looked, I thought from there, when we saw the clips of the goal, which, because I hadn't seen, obviously, I came back and saw them at halftime, just the highlights of the goal. I thought it was Virgil's man because Virgil was near him, but he wasn't at all. Bobby was literally had two hands around him. It was Bobby's man, and he stood and actually stepped up outside the box, and then Shea Adams just jogged into the box and got the header off. Yeah. So that would be the defensive mistake in that. But I get what you're saying. Like from a if you looked at where the ball got headed, that you'd expect the keeper to come for that, but it's really hard when the ball is
the delivery was top quality, to be fair. Yes.
When it's whizzed in towards the goalkeeper that way, it's really hard for the goalie to judge. Like you will often hear, because you like baseball as well, that the hardest ball to catch from an outfielder is one that's hit directly at them.
Right, because it will have movement on it, yeah.
Well, not just that, it's just that it's really hard to see depth perception.
Right.
So when it's up in the air or it's to the side, one way or the other, you've got like a 3D perception of where it's going to land.
Okay.
But when it's at you, it's really, really hard to judge how fast it's coming.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So they get back in the game 1-1. But like you said, then pretty much for the rest of the half, we play some pretty nice stuff. And one thing that I thought was particularly encouraging looking at the numbers is that Darwin Núñez was actually the second top presser in the team. I mean, we didn't. Who had that pegged after his first 3 or 4 appearances? You just basically remember you used to talk about his egregious jogging, but no, here he is. He's the second highest presser in the team.
Maybe he got fitter.
Yeah, maybe he's got fitter. Maybe I know. I just thought, the last game last pod we talked about, it's his best game as part of the system, as part of the 4-3-3, and I thought this was better again. This half was better again as part of a 4-3-3.
Yeah,
I mean the ball he puts in for Salah for the Salah big chance, that was a phenomenal ball in.
It was unbelievable, but also he's making. I know you loved how he was moving in the game.
Yeah.
Before you talked about his movement, right?
Yeah.
And I thought he was fast, and I thought he made some bad runs. But they're definitely coming. He's making runs that align with our system now. So the other boys know where he's going to go because he's running where you'd expect. And to be honest, he's running where you'd expect Mane to run. Sign me up for that because he can actually do it faster than Mane now.
Oh, sure. I mean, did you see that? Did you see it for I think it was for the Firmino big chance. He was basically about 10 yards outside our D, and he overtook the whole, about 15 players. It's the pace of him when he starts moving is just unreal.
It really, and it's not even just that, right? Because you'd expect a big, tall lad that is fast to be the fastest in the team, to be at his best over 30 meters, beyond 30 meters. So in a big full pitch transition, the fast lad Virgil is going to catch you, right? But I think a better example is in his second goal, where Mo would have almost was questioning whether to rip his throat out or not.
Yeah, they were queuing up to it. They were basically queuing up to score, weren't they?
Yeah. But he was outside the box, and so he was about 10 yards deeper than Mo when Robbo made connection to the ball, and he was ahead of him.
So you're saying he's got the top speed over the long distance, but he's also got the off the mark speed as well.
He's faster than Mo.
Wow. Unreal. Yeah, like we said, rough diamond side, but there's definitely really positive signs there, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. There were bits in this game where he looked like a cart horse almost. The ball was bouncing off him, but he's so fast to go and chase it and get it back again.
Yeah.
And then he does some other utterly brilliant stuff. Back heel for Bobby's chance.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. I want to see that stuff. He looked like a killer in this game, and sign me up for that. I really like how he and Mo seem to like each other too, because they're going to take goals off each other, and that's a big deal. If we can get Mo setting Darwin up too, back to setting Darwin up, so they're going to take it in turns over who's highest up the pitch. I think that's the best thing for Liverpool, and I think that might come with a different centre forward.
Yeah. Did you see the photos on the LFC main account today? Him sitting with Suarez on the Uruguay team bus.
Oh.
It was Darwin and Suarez together.
They're going to win the World Cup. Imagine that.
I know.
Imagine how sick Ronaldo would be.
I'd love sign me up for that. I've already put it out from the Under Pressure Twitter account, but did you see the latest instalment of the Darwin Núñez performance tracker?
I've barely seen the internet today.
No, this was I put it out a few days ago anyway. But yeah, he's now bang on his expected goals. He's 9 goals from 9.03 in all competition. Only 945 minutes played in a Liverpool jersey, which is nothing. He's still averaging 6 shots per game even now, and his XG per 90 is about 0.87 per 90 minutes. This is all on the Opta model. And he's up at 46% shot accuracy, and he's just over about 14.8% shot conversion now. So that is actually, in all these numbers, we're tracking them against Harry Kane and Harry Kane's 5-year average for Tottenham. And he's basically outperforming Kane on every single shooting metric now: goals, shots, XG, shot accuracy, and shot conversion, which is nice. Which is pretty phenomenal, really, considering he's got 945 minutes. So it's nothing, is it?
Yeah, it's nothing. But it also is. That's the difference. Is it is nothing. That Harry Kane's done it for 5 years.
Yeah, true.
We're projecting on this. Who was the Spanish fella that played for Dortmund that had 10 goals in the first 3 weeks, and then nobody remembers his name anymore? Alcazar.
Alcaraz.
Yeah. Alcaraz. I don't know. Yeah, it's guy will know. But yeah, he went to Dortmund. He scored. I think he scored with his first 11 shots.
Paco Alcacer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, I'm not suggesting he's that at all. But extrapolating on 900 minutes is probably not appropriate for an analyst. Though I think he might actually get better than that.
Yeah, because the team has been for a very rough.
And he doesn't look controlled in the way you'd expect. He doesn't look in form. He looks chaotic, and I think he's going to calm down. And if he calms down, you would expect him to improve.
Yeah.
He improved. Well, in this game, he's had 3 games where his post shot XG is lower than his XG.
Yeah.
And in this game, his post shot was 2.22 from 1.14.
Yeah. He's actually
If he improves his post shot, that's all you can ask for a forward.
Yeah, exactly. And he's actually 2 goals under his post shot XG, his post shot XG is 11 of the season is 11.3, and his XG is 9, and which means that the keepers have made some pretty damn good saves against him as well, which we know because we've watched the games. And they're going to stop making those at some point.
Yeah. In this game, we had 6 big chances, 4 big chances created. Mo had a phenomenal save from a great big chance from the Núñez. Núñez created 2 big chances, had 3 big chances himself.
Yeah.
Bobby missed a big chance. Mo missed 2 big chances, one of which I'm not convinced about, but as a big chance. But the one Darwin, we talked about it in the chat, but and the problem was that in the graphic on the app, we had a Darwin goal, I think, was right on top of the same location.
Yeah.
So you couldn't tap the shot underneath.
We're talking about FOTMOB here, yeah, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I have got an answer for you, because I remembered the conversation I had with Opta at the start of the season about their new model. I was messaging Peter McKeever at Opta.
Oh yeah.
And so Opta's have taken over FBref as a data provider, and all the data for FBref plus FOTMOB plus Fantasy Football Scout plus most other apps like SofaScore all comes from Opta, and their new XG model is all based off tracking data, which is basically fixed cameras around the ground. Now, we had a debate saying, well, okay, so the Mo chance was 19%, the Bobby chance was 17%. Why were they big chances, right? And the answer is because on both of them, the keeper was in very close proximity to the shot at the point the shot was taken. And what Opta have said with their new tracking data is that is a critical piece of information in terms of suppressing how often the chance is scored. So that's why if the keeper had been another metre or 2 metres away from Mo, it would have probably gone up to a 0.4 chance instead of a 0.19.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah, but they give it a big chance.
Yeah, but that's the analysts basically. But then
if
you want the real, but overall the whole season, Opta's new model of goals versus XG for the whole league is pretty much bang on. So
okay,
yeah, so
that's cool. One of those big chances that's really interesting. I saw on the highlights there was a big chance, but it was blocked just off the line. He reversed it into the far corner.
Yeah,
it was a lovely finish, but there were 6 players in front of him.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's a big chance.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so very important. Next time you see it and you're thinking what's going on, anybody listening, proximity of the keeper to the shooter, very, very important in suppressing XG values. Anyway, there's your stats. There's your nerdy bit for the show. Right, should we talk about the Southampton changes, Si? That was the next big event in the match. We go in 3-1 up, and 59 minutes, they make a triple sub.
Yeah, thankfully. And it worked for them a little bit, didn't it? It made the game exciting because it wasn't particularly in the second half. What is the guy called?
They took off Galatasaray with one of the centre backs, and they brought on Walcott, Rhodesy, and Maitland-Niles, basically 3 forwards. Yeah,
Maitland-Niles usually plays fullback, doesn't he?
Maitland-Niles,
yeah. And the Theo Mumra Walcott, who might be 715.
Yeah, but they go 4-2-3-1, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. And they start to build some chances, don't they?
Yeah.
Which leads into the greatest goalkeeper in the world talk.
Absolutely.
He say 3 big chances. They created 3 big chances because we didn't defend very well. And one of the saves was two of the saves are very Ali saves.
Yeah.
That he is he does Peter Schmeichel better than Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah.
And then the third save was unbelievable. It was just a brilliant save.
Like the header from Che Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was astonishing. That was amazing save. Because he was like about 4 meters out.
Yeah. You're right. It was about maybe even less. It was a phenomenal reaction save, full extension, push the ball away.
Yeah.
That I didn't like how they kept cutting through us, to be fair. Their change to make the 3 alongside getting around Fab, it kind of worked, and we quickly switched Harvey off at that point for Milner, and then Ox came on a little bit afterwards for Bob, didn't he?
Yeah,
and then Milner was chasing. Milner just comes on and wants to make tackles all the time, and I think he's a little bit proactive sometimes. You know that whole let's use your experience, come on and settle the game down. It's not his nature to settle the game down.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need a body to block spaces.
Yeah, he came on after the first 2 of those big chances. Milner came on after the first 2 had already happened. And we spent the whole pod about 3 episodes ago talking about the Bermuda Triangle, we called it, on the right side, our right defensive half space. And the first 2 Saints chances come right through that space yet again. El Yunusi then gets closed down on the angle, and then Harvey Elliott
slipped in.
Yeah, and then the second one, Harvey Elliott just doesn't track the runner, does he? And then Gomez is flat-footed. Yeah.
Gomez comes out to press a pass, doesn't he? And he gets passed around.
Yeah.
You need teamwork in that part. Like, at some point, Virgil's got to come across, or Trent's got to come across, or Fab's got to be deeper and Thiago's going to be tucked in a bit more. But the bottom line is they gambled so that they put 4 forwards against us. And we very often had 3 at the back still.
Yeah.
We definitely need to find a way of closing games out. The thing we were brilliant at for 3 years.
Yeah.
3-1 should be enough. We stop going looking for goals, and we can just turn the game into a boring game, which is how City managed to play all their same players over and over again. Like we talked a couple of weeks ago that their players have all played more than ours have in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But the nature of their minutes are much less stressful because half of their games are already won, so they're just jogging around.
Yeah.
And ours are playing with their hair on fire because they're trying desperately to save a game or to win a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we win the running, Si?
It was 106.2 to 106.5.
That's total distance, yeah.
Yeah.
And have you got
total distance, and we were 860 and 790 high speed. So we were just slightly higher than them with high speed running, but it's not very high.
Yeah. Still a low. And that'll fit in quite in the middle of all those numbers we gave you a few weeks back when we talked about our decline versus our peak.
I should probably make a little blog about that or something. So whatever.
I'm sure Eddie would be delighted if you could do something for AnfieldIndex.com. Yeah.
Just so we've got it on, as a point of reference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to get out there. Definitely. So one thing I looked at, we'll leave Ali to the end because he's probably going to go and win the World Cup now, isn't he, with Brazil as well. By the way, what did you think of, not non-stats question, what did you think of Clean Shaven Ali? He's a handsome bastard, isn't he?
He is a handsome bastard. He has everything, doesn't he?
I know.
But he loves God, so
yeah.
No, he's not having that much fun.
I don't know. He seems very happy with his family. Anyway, right. I looked at, there was a question on the Under Pressure Discord group, can't remember who from, about do our performance metrics mirror the drop-off in physical metrics? Because it's visible. We can see the drop-off of the team after, in terms of the energy of the team. Yes, and the answer is emphatically yes. There is a massive difference between our performance data first half versus second half. So I have some numbers. I will post these in the chat as well. We are... Did you see these, by the way, when I shared them the other day?
You did, yeah, I did.
Yeah, they're pretty stark, aren't they?
They are.
So the attack.
Wait, can I just add from a performance perspective? It's very common to have between an 8 and a 15% physical performance drop between first half and second half numbers, and between 8 and 15. And this season we've got 22.
Ooh. So 20. That's the distance sprints, high speed, yeah.
That's high speed sprints. I didn't look at the distance between. Yeah,
that's quite a big drop.
Yeah, there's 22. A big drop. So we're running a lot more in the first half, but still not as much as we had been over the previous 5 years. But the second half is almost half a second half. So if I without looking at this, we're talking specifics. But if we did 110 sprints in the second half, we're around 63.
Hello, I'm here to annoy you. I'm here to annoy you into listening to more of me and more of others on EPL Index. We don't just have the Anfield Index stuff. We've got EPL Index as well, which covers the entirety of the Premier League. And we have 3 podcasts and a whole bunch of really good writing on EPLindex.com. The podcasts are my own Two-Footed podcast, which is every day at 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, covering the whole league. We have A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. You know Tadiwa, he does Anfield Index. He presents A Tad Predictable before every Premier League match week. And then Kevin DeVries and his crew on the EPL Roundtable, they're every week after the Premier League match week. So make sure you listen to everything we're doing on EPL Index and follow us there on Twitter at EPL Index. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, that's a big deal. Right. In the performance metrics, the attack is the good news is that the attack is mostly consistent. There is a small drop in the first half of shots and XG, but only 18% season versus last season. So 14.4 shots for this season versus 17.6 last season. XG 1.95 first half versus 2.39 last season. So otherwise, the second half XG, second half shots, and the XG per shot, the shot quality, pretty much identical. So not too much to worry about with the attack. All the problems are on the defensive side. It's not the first time we've said that this season. So the shots conceded in the first half, not a huge problem. Not 8.5 versus 7.1. So not a massive change. The biggest problem we've had in the first half has been, we know the number of times we conceded the first goal. Opponents are scoring with 23% of their shots in the first 20 minutes of matches. That's just ridiculous this season.
Wow.
Yeah, that is just really bad. So second half, last season we were 7.9 shots, and now it's up 10.6 in the second half. So XG last season was very consistent. It was 0.9 in the first half, 0.8 in the second half. That's really good. Anytime your XG is less than 1 per 90 minutes, you're good. And if you can get down to 0.8, you're elite. And so we had elite numbers there in the second half last season. This season, 1.3 XG per 90 in the first half, 1.9 in the second half. Absolutely scandalous figure. I would say 1.9 XG per 90 conceded, borderline relegation form.
That's awful, yeah.
Yeah. And
so in my chart that I track, my colouring highlights, my conditional highlights would be that for Liverpool, 1 is it gets a green. Anything under 1 and anything above 1.35 gets a red.
Yeah. And this is 1.9 second half this season.
Shocker.
And the average shot quality, 18% in the second half this season. Last season, 10%. Which is fine. That's right in the middle of the league norms. And this was last season with the so-called high line and all the problems that we were getting shredded. To be there again. But yeah. And in terms of the overall picture, the expected goal difference last season, first half 1.48 per 90, second half 1.61. This season 0.67 first half and 0.46 second half. Not even half an XG per match in the second half. That is not good. And that's not going to win you many games. No. You need to be getting that expected goal difference above 1 per match. Otherwise, you're leaving too much to chance. So yes, lots and lots. The tale of woe. First half versus second half. So we've mentioned this a number of times. We're into the World Cup now. Do you think there's any possibility that this first half versus second half, the physical declines, can be fixed after the World Cup when we come back?
Yeah. Well, I think we've got 4 weeks of training basically. So I don't know what they're doing from a rest. I think a couple of them might have a week off or something to recover from some whatever bumps.
But there's going to be at least 14, 15 players there, right? Plus the kids.
Yeah. And so the idea would be to come back fresh and peaking for the second half of the season. Yeah. So throw away the strategies that they've had for the first. This is new. Let's go fresh.
Yeah.
Can I just, while you're talking first and second half, right? For, the last season, we gave up 16.8 XG in the second half of games.
In the whole season.
In the whole season. And this season, we've given up 15.4 already.
Fucking hell. It's so bad.
That is astonishing, isn't it?
We have
still.
We've played what? 35% of the season?
Yeah.
Shocking.
At 35% of the season, we've already given up 88% of the XG against.
Right.
And we fixed it. Second halves.
Let's finish on a high.
This is all about second halves.
Let's finish on a high. The holy goalie, Alisson Becker, AB1. Tribute time. I think you said that he was the the best goalkeeper you've ever seen.
Yeah,
Not even the best Liverpool goalkeeper now.
Well, right. So I've been down this rabbit hole with people on Twitter and coaches in real life. That whatever goal you're watching now, they are better than Southall in 1986.
Yeah.
That they just jump higher, jump faster, get back off the floor faster, kick the ball harder, have better reflexes than just from a physiological standpoint. That you can talk about talent, take Dalglish out of 1978 and give him 15 years of strength and conditioning that he would have had if he was a player now. That's a completely different debate. But I didn't see Southall or Shilton or Pat Jennings
Ray Clements
having had 20. Ray Clements having had 20 years of good S&C and eating right and sleeping well. So that debate is off the
counterpoint. Though one quick counterpoint is that Ray Clements didn't even wear goalie gloves. They hadn't even started coming into fashion when he started. He was in goal for Liverpool, and also players would be absolutely twatted on high balls and in the penalty area. The amount of fouls they had to endure and suffer, the amount of physical, that's a lot higher.
They also had a ball that travelled slower.
True.
Their conditions for them were harder, but they had a ball that travelled slower. They could pick the ball up and waste 28 minutes out of a game because they picked the ball up and put it back down again. But I'm purely talking about their ability from the middle of the goal to defend the posts.
Oh yeah, the reach, and the athleticism. Yes, absolutely, yeah.
That's all. Yeah. So the worst goal in the league now is better than the best goal in 1990. I get into the corner of the goal.
Yeah.
That's all. And Ali is the best of those.
And that was Shilton's biggest thing. That was what he was always better at than everybody else at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I see in Ali is the best I'd ever seen at coming out and nullifying one-on-ones. I thought Schmeichel redefined how people did that.
The starfish.
Yeah, the starfish. But he was so aggressive at doing it. He would come early and he would stay big longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
And Ali does that, but he also adds, he actually moves to he reads where the player's putting the ball and he moves his hand or his leg to it as well. He's not just coming out to block. He's actively making a save a foot away.
And it's like all four limbs move independently each as well. It's incredible, isn't it? He can move his left hand and his right hand and his left foot and his right all at the same time from signals from his brain. It's incredible. Yeah,
he reads biomechanics better than any goalie I know.
Yeah.
And that is huge. I talk to tennis players about it. At what point do you move? Like watching, so we'll do this little drill where we're watching somebody else play, two players play, and I'll say you have to move in the direction that you would if you were the receiving player. At what point? And they will tell me when they're going to hit them. They tell me they will move when basically when the ball hits the racket of the opposition. But in fact, they're actually moving about 2 meters before the ball hits the racket. And the better the player they are, they're moving maybe 5 or even 8 meters before the ball touches their opponent's racket. And Ali is like, if that's tennis, he is moving. He knows where the ball's going to go by the time he's hit the shot himself. Yeah. He's read exactly the body position of the striker. He knows exactly the direction that he's going to try to make that shot. And he's already blocking it.
Yeah. And I remember the video that the LFC account put out. I think it was before the season where we had all the injuries, 2021. And it was the standing vertical jump test. So that's like an S&C test. Is it how good is your standing?
It's a baseline S&C test.
And Ali won it for the team. Okay.
Wow.
So I guess that's a point of the goalie winning it over, say, Virgil.
Oh, that's huge. No. So a vertical leap has got nothing to do with height. It's how far you're displacing your mass off the floor.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's not how high you get. It's how you get off the floor. But yeah, the vertical leap challenge. Yeah, he beat Virg, which all I was saying was that it's. Yeah, that's surprising, isn't it?
That's huge, but it would typically I would have put my money on Mane.
Oh, wow.
Because vertical leap usually comes with speed. So quick guys usually jump highest.
Yeah.
So that's remarkable that he can get there, because that means that shows how twitchy he is, that he's fast.
Yeah.
He's unbelievably athletic. But numbers wise, he's just the best goalkeeper that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
What was the over 5 years that he's got the best save? He's got the best big chance save percentage in the world, in 4 of them. And the one that he didn't was the season that we won the league. And he would have if we hadn't have won the league and they were pissed for 6 weeks.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So we always talk about big chances, and very nicely, there's a website which we subscribe to called Fantasy Football Scout, and they let you do all fancy stuff with up-to data. And one of the things that's emerged on Fantasy Football Scout the last year or so is big saves. So it's basically big chances from the goalkeeper's perspective. And it goes back to 2018-19. And we always talk about how important big chances are, because like 60% of all the goals scored in the Premier League are big chances, and they're scored at an average rate of 38%. So it doesn't give much opportunity for being saved. So, but Alisson Becker has got 4 of the top 5 big chance save percentage rates of the last 5 seasons. The only keeper who breaks his monopoly on the top is Matt Ryan, who was at Brighton in 2019-20. So Ali's best season, you may be surprised to learn, was the 2021 injury season, and he saved 2/3, 67% of all the big chances the opposition had. So massive factor in us getting Champions League that season. His second best season was his first full one, 18-19. He only faced 25 all season, which is a very low number. Saved 14 of them. Sorry, these are the on-target big chances. Big chances which miss the target aren't in this. So this is just big chances on target. So 14 out of 25 that season, 56. That's the second best figure seen by any Premier League goalkeeper in this. Then Matt Ryan's season, he got 50. He's got 55. And then last season, Ali was 15 of 28. So that's 54%. And this season, he's 16 of 30. Which is 53. So it's very difficult for a keeper, very, very rare, for a keeper to get over 50% of saving the big chances on target. The only other keepers who've broken 50% are Nick Pope, 1 season for Burnley, 1920, and Lucas Fabianski, 1 season for West Ham, 18-19. And they both got 51%. So David De Gea, that's before gone now. The all Premier League goalkeeper average over 5 seasons is 40% of big chances on target saved. So that's your benchmark. The average goalkeeper, 40%.
So what you're saying is that Ali is 50% better than the average goalie.
He's 13 percentage points better. 13 percentage points, which is phenomenal. Yeah. David De Gea's best season was his last season. It was 21 out of 50, which is 42%. So barely above league average. Ederson's best season was 47%. 15 out of 32. That was 19-20 season. And Hugo Lloris, his best season is 48%, 19 out of 40. They're best seasons. Quite often you'll see these good keepers with sub Premier League average numbers. And when you put that all together, what does that mean? What does that translate to? You may have seen what we put out from the Under Pressure Twitter account on this already, but when you look at big chances saved above the average Premier League goalkeeper, he saved 5.2 per season. The next best keeper anywhere is Dean Henderson at 3.
Wow.
And there's so many of the keepers in that list that are just literally either side, a fraction either side of 0. And he's basically 5 big chances per season, 5.2 more than the average goalkeeper per season. It's just phenomenal. The impact he makes. That's pretty much 5 goals, right? We can say he's worth. And this season, he's already 3 goals above average in terms of, and that's just the Premier League. So the man is worth his weight in gold.
Yep.
I saw a shout from somebody saying that right now, would he be the Premier? You could argue in terms of data analytics, he's the Premier League's player of the season so far. I'm not sure he's going to get that title away from Haaland, but you could certainly make a damn good case for him, couldn't you?
I think he's the most valuable player this year. I think he's made the biggest difference to points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, for the rest of the season, he doesn't bear that responsibility.
Well, hopefully he barely has to save any big chances after this point. Yeah, when we really crack down and tighten up, say.
Would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? Incidentally, how good was Thiago in this game?
I don't know. How good was Thiago in this game, say?
Like, he just... I don't know if stats even do him justice, really, because... or just some unbelievable passes. He had 5 unbelievable passes, all preceded by that phenomenal shimmy thing that he does, where he sends the lad out for a paper, and then like he just pings. There was one moment where he played a pass, got it back, and won it back. And as he won it back, he played a reverse 50-yard pass in behind to I don't know how he even saw Salah.
Yeah. Was he top for possession control again, as always? In this one?
He is always top for possession control, but he didn't have a positive possession control in this game for only the second time this season. He was -1.
That's interesting.
We did, one of the other things in this game which is weird, is that we keep losing duels.
Mm.
Do you not find? Like, that's un-Liverpool like. We usually, like, in our best seasons for 4 years, we dominated about 64-65% of duels. We were always the most physical, and we got possession back that way. And we're currently under 50%. I think we're 47 for the season.
I'd love to do a first second half split on that in particular.
Yeah, really that makes sense.
Yeah. Although saying that, there was the match at Old Trafford, the horror show. In the first half, we didn't win a single tackle in the first half of that game. So, last one from me, say, we were talking about the first, second half splits. The other one you asked me to look at was pressing.
Yeah.
And there is, again, in terms of the volume, there's a 13% reduction in pressing volume. The second half, we're looking at 72 presses per second half and 83 in the first half. So 13% reduction there. And also, perhaps more interestingly, a 14% reduction in the amount of presses in chains. So,
right, that makes a ton of sense, doesn't it? It aligns with the physical data.
Yeah, 51% in chains in the second half, 59% in chains in the first half. So yeah, it's the change is all about the teamwork and the synchronized pressing and stuff. So yeah, much less evident in the second half.
Pressing without a chain is a gap.
Yeah, just one man. It's one man closing down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else, Si?
Do you know what? I think that's a pretty good hour for those two games.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we managed to go this long.
But we will be back with other stuff during the World Cup hiatus. We'll probably have a league review. We might even do a listener questions. So you might be planning a fatigue index.
Yeah, that's good. There's definitely a fatigue index for. I think even with a couple of lads that are on camp at the World Cup.
Oh, watch this space. So, yes, you will have content, listeners. Have no fear. No rest for the wicked here. But until next time, thank you, Si.
My pleasure. Thanks, Darth.
And thanks, everybody, once again for making us a bigger audience than Piers Morgan Talk TV.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.